Greetings. I have recently heard, and it is rather very often, people talking about hurt angels, and also people talking about empaths, and they tend to automatically associate empath with being a white witch. But usually I've seen more the empath being associated with hurt angel. And I want to bring another perspective based on my research. And this brings me to what it is called, what it is categorized as gifted adults. I want to immediately say and mention that I'm not in agreement with the label gifted. And why? It is because basically there are different types of intelligence. That is not just for instance the academic intelligence. And this is coming from somebody who is a master in psychology and who has studied, for instance, what they call the the test of intelligence. What people don't realize is that in the test of intelligence are only an indication. In other words, it's not because you don't get a high number on IQ test that means that you are under intelligent. So the same way that IQ tests are only an indication, we need more facts and from different areas of the person's life to really evaluate the IQ. And it is the same way with the gifted adults. The gifted adults, again, I don't like the label. It is just a different way of functioning. It's not just one type of intelligence. There are more than just one type, even though the academical intelligence is very much promoted in this society. So I want to make very sure you understand that I don't like the label gifted person or gifted adult, because they are different intelligence, and this is just being gifted is just another way of being intelligent. This being said, I know that I was starting with hurt angels. Yeah, I'm coming to that. It is because recently I have made an interpretation of a very good article written in French, and I will make the summary to you so that you can figure more what I'm talking about. So I will read the summary and then I will comment regarding the label Hurt Angels and the label Empath, and we'll go from there. The title of the article that was in French, and so what I'm doing right now, because I've made also the translation of the summary, so this is the translation of it. The 10 character traits which greatly disturb the life of the gifted adults. Follow me please on this, you will understand how important it is. 1. And by the way, the translation is made by me. Also the interpretation that will be attached as a card. First, empathic and friendly. Stop to be nice, be true. Of course, there are well-intentioned people who appreciate your empathy and kindness to its fair value, two qualities that make the basic of the charism, both coveted. 2. Resilient. Those are manipulative personalities who abuse of your ability to stand up again immediately after an assault. You are still too much manhandled by your potential. Live the intolerable without being believed, devastated by a cascade of injustice. 3. Passionate. Warning, you're not always rewarded and compensated for your superhuman efforts. 4. Lightning speed. Your speed of execution, disconcerting, can also be experienced as an affront by your colleagues who feel consciously or unconsciously devalued. 5. Creative. We will take care of you, put sticks in the wheels to derail your creative projects when you will dare to venture on this path. Touching your creativity is felt as a violent aggression which has consequences on your self-confidence and your self-esteem. 6. Multi-action. It is a considerable asset, this ability to multitask, to be able to do with quality several things at once through the end without being dispersed much. Knowing this allows you to pay attention to the over-expense and to take the necessary time to relax. 7. The search for truth and concern for justice. You run out of saliva and energy to explain and justify everything without stopping and without ceasing. Learn how to respond to a need. Avoid to go ahead of troubles without we ask you for the sake of fairness, whether you are involved or not. 8. Brain hyperactivity. This vicious circle can be stopped right away by inserting this bottom off, which allows you to capture the attention, which inhibits the negative ideas. In you, the coupling of the mind, in the simplicity of a brief moment, your brain will be much more effective without parasite. 9. Emotional oscillations. You can tame your brain in learning to extinguish all its areas one by one. It is a way to reduce the amplitude of your negative waves. 10. Cocktail effect. The world turns thanks to you. Then please avoid being unkind to you by ignorance. This is just a little summary of, like I mentioned before, of my interpretation of 33 minutes 50 seconds that will be added as a core. Now, why I'm bringing that to your attention, to those who think they are hurt angels, do you recognize yourself in those 10 character traits which greatly disturb the life of the gifted adults? Again, I don't like the label gifted, but we have to deal with it for now, okay? For the sake of clarity. So, do you start saying that hurt angels might not be exactly who you are, and you might just be a gifted adult? I want to add something else. Gifted adults are not necessarily those who succeeded in school. You can be what they call a dropout and still be a gifted adult. Not only that, if we go back in history, like in the 1950s and the 1960s and so on, the more back we go in the history, the more there were gifted adults who were not seen by the system or by the society. I also want to add that the name is Mensa. I go by memory for now, M-E-N-S-A. If I am mistaken, I will put it in the video description because we cannot add annotations anymore. But the thing is, I don't believe that only 2% of the population are gifted individuals. It is what they say, but they don't consider that they are people who are not aware that they are gifted. And it is something that has to be taught. And I had the blessing to come across une psy à la maison, who is a French psychologist, who brought to my attention who I really am. And so we are not really taught. And again, if you slip through the cracks of the system or the school system, and also again, it cannot be the case that only 2% of the population are gifted. Not to mention that other type of intelligence are not really appreciated and really promoted. So, you might just be what is called a gifted adult. I highly question the idea of being a heart angel, to be honest with you, because this is more new age than anything else. This is the most important thing I had to say, because earth angel comes very often, the label earth angel, and people, you know, before saying something, sometimes they don't really research, and this brings confusion. And if they got because it's not because you got a lot of subscribers that you are popular that you are automatically a good researcher. You can say things that please the ear or please the mind of the people who are you're talking to. Earth Angel, I've seen that a lot. What I've seen less, but I want to mention a quick comment, is that I recently saw a video that they were automatically saying that the empaths were automatically a white witch. So, just a quick mention that it's not because you're an empath that you are either a hurt angel or a white witch or called to be a witch. It's another diversion. It is another diversion, like just it's so much we are going through a society that is coming more and more new age and more promoting witchcraft. It's up to you to make your research or not. If you want to believe what is good for your ear or for your heart, without really considering and really researching and get to your own conclusions, well, you will go from one boat to another to finally end up that you never really discovered yourself. Thank you for listening.